I have a $1,200 car payment, and I would do it again and again and again and again. You're only on this plan in one.
We filed bankruptcy 6 years ago and we're in debt again. The total amount of debt is $92,589.
What do you drive and what is your monthly payment?
A Lamborghini Urus Performante, and my monthly payment is like $5,200 a month.
Just got this dude a job in the oil field, and he got his first check, and not a couple days after, I got a picture of a new Ford Raptor. And he said, "How you like it, man?" And I said, "Hey, I don't like it at all, actually."
Being in debt has become so normalized in 2026 that it almost feels like a rite of passage into adulthood. Student loans, car payments, mortgages, credit card debt. For a lot of people, it's not just one. It's all of them at the same time. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the kinds of debt that people are actually living with and trying to understand the reasoning behind how they even got there in the first place. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I do post new videos every week, but without further ado, let's get right into the video.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Financing a vehicle, zero down, just because I could. I walked in that I said, I want that car. He said, how much you putting down? I said, nothing.
So right off the rip, nothing like putting yourself in a financial bind by putting nothing down on a car you're about to finance that you probably can't afford in the first place, considering the fact that you've saved nothing to put down on it. There's so many people online with a similar story. They needed a car, they needed it yesterday, and they had absolutely nothing saved for it. They went to a dealer, had nothing to put down on it. I don't think this is going to turn out well for him, but let's take a look.
He gave me them keys, and my APR went all the way up through the roof.
Bro, what's your APR?
Like 20%.
And what's that monthly payment looking like?
700.
Oh my
700?
God.
I've been paying for 3 years.
You've been 700 for 3 years on a car? What kind of car was this?
This is the Honda.
Gang, for a Honda. I thought he was going to say like an Audi or something, but bro, a Honda? $700 a month for a Honda? And not just any Honda.
Honda what?
Honda Civic Sport Touring.
It's not even a Type R. He got a regular Honda Civic Sport Touring. $700 a month. 20% APR. That's a def APR right there. I'm not going to lie to you. He might as well try to refinance that car because 20% is ridiculous. $700 a month for a Honda Civic. Now look, Hondas are very reliable. So at the end of the day, is the car going to last him a minute? Probably. $700 is what some people make in a week and not even that. And you're spending that just on the car. That's not including gas, insurance, any maintenance that you have to get done to the car, oil changes, brakes, routers need to get replaced. If you need a new battery, that's none of that. That is just for the car. Crazy.
What year?
2017.
What'd your parents have to say about that?
They just looked at me and was like, damn.
You regret it?
I mean, what can you say at the end of the day? If you were an adult and you signed up for that, that's a contractual agreement that you have at that point. There's nothing that they can say. That's between you and the financer. What can they say? What can they do? Nothing. You got yourself into that situation, son. You're going to have to dig yourself out. You can't rely on your parents to get you out of those types of situations, you know? Kind of like you live and you learn. They could have taught him better financial literacy, so he didn't end up in this position in the first place, but it doesn't look like they taught him. Or if they did, he didn't listen.
Hell yeah. I could have just got a used vehicle.
You got a luxury sports car.
Look, I could have got a Range Rover.
That's what I'm saying. You got a regular Honda Civic. It's not a crazy luxury car. It's nothing fancy. It's definitely not going to impress anybody at the red light. So it's like, I can understand people getting a crazy car payment like that to flex, but you're not flexing in a Honda Civic. You're just drowning in $700 payment. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm cool with my little Honda.
It's getting you around?
Yeah, it's,
You gotta
they
be.
last a long time. My bulletproof.
Yeah.
Tough.
Okay, if you go back, what kind of car would you have really gotten?
If I can go back knowing what I know now,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even buy no car from the dealership. I'd probably just go get a used vehicle, used Honda or used Toyota, you know.
Like a beater?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Something
That could pay off?
Something
Yeah.
I could pay off, something I could take care of, you know, like a little old Toyota, 2007, 2008, little Honda or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, so how much are you paying with insurance then?
My insurance is $250.
Hindsight is always 2020. It seems like he understands that he made a huge mistake, and if he could go back, he probably wouldn't even go to a dealership, which is probably my advice to a lot of people looking for a car, a lot of young people, and even some older millennials. Just get a cash car, because now with his included insurance payment, it's looking like $950 a month. That's almost $1,000 a month, not including gas, none of the maintenance, tolls if he has to pay any of that, any parking fees associated if around where he lives has meters. That stuff starts to add up. I'm not gonna lie to you, just for one vehicle. But like I said, hindsight is always 2020. He seems like he knows he made a bad decision. This might be some people that you know that just won't admit it out loud because it's kind of embarrassing to talk about. At least he has the confidence and maturity to own up to it and say, yeah, I messed up, and this is probably not ideal for most people, and it's not ideal for me, and if I could change it, I would.
So you dropped almost a band a month?
I'm paying a band a month, yeah.
For the Honda?
It's been 3 years, yeah. I got 2 more years to go.
And then it's completely paid
And
off?
it's paid off, pink slip, yeah.
Man, it's kind of worth it, I guess. You paid it off fast. I mean, you taking
It's
big
been
hits
3
every
years,
month.
yeah.
Though.
I'm 24 years old now. I got this shit when I was like 20. So yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
The guy says it was kind of worth it. It absolutely was not worth it. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but that doesn't sound worth it to me at all, especially not for a Honda Civic Sport Touring. That's a regular vehicle that you see on the road. $700 for that? You're tripping. And that's the thing, is that he was 20 when he got that vehicle. The dealership probably saw a young buck fresh, probably had no credit history, and they were like, yeah, he's probably going to take whatever we throw at him, so let's really try to get as much as we can out of him. Because again, dealerships are not your friends at the end of the day. They're a business trying to make a bottom dollar, and they're going to make as much money as they can. So if they could squeeze a little bit of that money out of you, trust and believe that they will. Sad to see, but 2 years left on his finance. That's not too bad.
It's cool. What about you though?
What about me?
Like, what's the worst financial decision you've ever made?
Financing the car too.
You didn't say shit. Yeah, man, it happens to all of us, man.
This was M3 though.
Oh damn.
He said, at least I went into debt for something that you want to be seen in. M3s are crazy expensive, and that's like every like 20-something-year-old's dream car to drive. But I did know somebody that had an M3, an older M3, and he spent a lot of money on it. He spent more money than I spent on my coupe. Let me just tell you right now, the amount of times I heard that thing was broken down on the side of the road, I'm like, yo, that's what you get. You wanted to drive a BMW. It was a beautiful vehicle, though. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw he had it, I was like, wow, that's actually pretty sick. I'm glad he was able to get something like that. But that thing was broken down.
How much you paying for your 1,000?
560.
God.
He has the nicer vehicle and he's paying less. I know he's sick. I know he's sick.
Damn, I'm getting up out here, man. God damn. Somebody come help me out. They save me.
But if I could go back, I wouldn't have done. I would have waited.
You would have waited too?
Yeah. But I love the car though. It's about the miles per miles. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. My only had like 70,000. I'm at 80,000 now. I'm chilling, taking good care of my.
Okay, I feel it.
Bro, 70,000 miles, and they still were charging him $700 a month. It's that APR, man. He really got boned. Taking a look at the comments. Problem wasn't putting zero down. The mistake was accepting a 20% APR deal. That's what I'm saying. He got absolutely rocked on that APR. The APRs are diabolical. It apparently doesn't even matter if you have a 720, as you've seen from my previous video. They don't care. They're gonna crack you on that APR, and you're gonna agree because you're desperate. You need a car in that time, and you're not really thinking about long term what that's gonna end up costing you. But as we can see, it's a lot. Yeah, the first car is usually an emotional decision, because if you really put it on paper for him and gave him some time to think about it, he probably would have came to the conclusion that this probably isn't the smartest thing to do. But you're in the dealership, you know, they're being nice to you because obviously they want you to take that car because they want to make money. They're making everything sound like it's the greatest deal you've ever seen in your life, and you would be stupid not to take advantage of it. That's how they talk to you when you get to the dealership. You know, you live, you learn, especially in your early 20s. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to probably find yourself in a lot of debt, and the only way to learn from that is by struggling through paying it off and getting to the finish line and realizing that you never want to do that again. That's how I found myself in credit card debt. I had like $10,000-$15,000 worth of credit card debt once, and I said never again. Paid it all off, and it wasn't fun because I had already enjoyed all the things that I bought. Those were no longer giving me that dopamine anymore. So when I had to pay the money back, the amount of grief that I had paying back all that money was greater than the dopamine that I got from spending it in the first place.
I just got this dude a job in the oil field, and he got his first check, and not a couple days after, I got a picture of a new Ford Raptor. And he said, how you like it, man? And I said, hey, I don't like it at all. I was like, you know, it's a cool truck, but you should just be eyeballing that shit on the lot. I was like, it shouldn't be in your driveway right now.
That probably hurt his feelings so bad, bro. He just spent all this money on a truck to flex it. He said, actually, I don't even really like it. I thought that was funny.
Young cat. And I had to explain to him what debt to income is. And I was like, motherfucker, you now can't afford a house, bro. I was like, I hope that truck's real comfortable because you're going to be sleeping in it. Man, that breaks my heart, you know, to see young dudes get out here and start making good money for themselves. You know, maybe when they start out, they're only making like take home $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month or something. Bro, you do not need a $3,000 truck payment. I promise you.
Nobody in the world needs a $3,000 truck payment. Now, I don't care what you do for work. I don't care if contracting is your life. I don't care if you own your own business. I mean, at the end of the day, if you own your own business and you're making enough money to pay for that truck and for your expenses, then go ahead. But you're paying $3,000 for a truck. That's more than some people paying rent. Got that first check and said, ooh, I can afford something real nice. Financially bound himself to something for probably another 7 to 10 years. I do not envy him.
Before you're like, oh, that's not realistic, Cody. 3,000 is too much. This dude paying $2,200 plus insurance. $2,200 plus insurance.
And I guarantee you, if the truck is $2,200, the insurance payment is no lower than $800 a month. Because the more expensive your car is, the more it's going to cost to insure it. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't realize that. They think $2,200 a month, I could pay that. And then they completely forget that insurance is a never ending subscription. It is a subscription that you're going to have to pay for the life of that vehicle. Yeah, it might go down as the years go on, but for a while, especially while it's new, you're going to be paying a lot of money in insurance. And that's where people get financially bound or caught up. They can just make the car payment, but then that insurance kicks in and it's too much for them to handle. It ends up getting repoed, tail as old as time.
How much insurance is on a brand new fucking truck, an $80,000 truck, whatever the fuck it is. I'll tell you one thing, it's more than both of my houses combined. He could have made the mortgage payment on my rental property and my primary home for the cost of a truck. You know what's even more silly? He has a fucking work truck. He has a work truck.
The guy has a working work truck. He did not need to get this Raptor. He just bought it because he wanted it, because he wanted to flex, because he's a car guy, and he thought he could swing it. But what happens if you lose your job? He's on the hook for that truck at the end of the day. And if he falls behind on payments, that truck is going to be on the end of a hook of a pickup truck, repossessing it. Crazy.
You don't need that Raptor to go to work. Oh my God, man, it breaks my heart, dude, because these people just throw their whole lives away. They throw their lives away for a fucking vehicle that nobody cares about, man. People laugh at me, you know, when I tell them I live and die by my Corolla, man. My Toyota Corolla, I got a 2023. It's almost paid off now. It is sitting in my garage, my pimp mobile, man. That's what I call it. I don't need that Raptor. I don't need that Longhorn. I don't need that King Ranch because I'm buying houses and shit. I'm trying to do better for myself, but people get caught up in that. I want to look like I'm making money. Y'all can just make money. Y'all know that, right? Like, you can make money and still be wearing the same clothes you had 3 years ago. Y'all be broke trying to look rich, man. You'll drive yourself to being poor trying to look like you're wealthy.
And that keeping up with the Joneses stuff, it's not sustainable. Try to keep up with the lifestyle of people around you, people on the internet that have certain things, and you want those certain things to make it look like you're made it in life, or that, you know, you're doing well in life. And in reality, you're not. You're struggling to hold on to depreciating assets that aren't generating an income. They're actively losing money, all because you want to look like you have money. The links that people go to make it seem like they have money is insane, especially with things like social media. Everybody has a nicer car. Everybody has a nicer house. Everybody has a bigger bank account. Who are you really keeping up with? Taking a look at the comments. As my husband says all the time, I'm not jealous of nobody with a car payment. Finally own the pink slip to my vehicle, and I can confidently say I will never be financing another vehicle again. I will be buying another vehicle in cash. I actually bought another vehicle. My friend, I helped him get into a new Honda Civic. I bought his old Honda Civic, little 2009, 90,000 miles on it. It's a real hoopty. But me and my boy fixed it up, bought it for $2,000. We split that vehicle now. Do I look cool in it? Hell no. The windows are tinted though. Nobody can see me driving it. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. I'm invisible on the road and I'm cool with that. Anonymity is really slept on. I love driving my little Civic on the road. Nobody's paying attention to me. It's reliable, good on gas, has great trunk space, back seats. These are all things I can't say about my coupe. Terrible on gas. The back seats are terrible. If you're taller than 5'10", good luck sitting back there. Your neck is cramped. That's a lesson that I had to learn. So another person, $2,200 a month at a 9% APR for 6 years is $204,125. Almost $250,000 for that truck if he had a 9% over 6 years. Almost $250,000. He could have bought a house, or at least paid off a decent chunk of a house. Another person, we own a company and my husband offers a budgeting and financing class when we first hire people because they don't teach this stuff in school anymore, and these poor kids are starting their lives off in debt. Why we don't teach these important things in schools blows my mind. It's because they want you to be in debt. You can't keep continuously paying them money back if you're not in debt. It keeps the creditor rich and liquid for years to come. Another person, I'm a mortgage lender. These vehicle payments literally kill people's chances of buying a home every day. And that brand new truck is not a brand new truck in 8 months, new model, and you're going to be paying $2,200 for the outdated Raptor. Insane.
What do you drive and what's your monthly payment?
I drive a Hyundai Tucson SEL. I pay $707 a month.
What car do you drive? What's your monthly payment?
For a Hyundai?
$100, $0. I own it.
That's what's up.
Bronco.
What do you pay?
I can't say that on camera. Too much.
Does it start with a 5?
No.
More.
7.
Real talk, what do you need a Ford Bronco for working at a car dealership? Can somebody explain that to me in the comments? Why she would need a Ford Bronco? I'm just saying, I mean, it doesn't really make any sense for me. If you don't think you can get any worse, let's keep watching.
What do you drive and what's your monthly payment?
2025 BMW M2 and I pay $1,500 a month.
Again, another M Series BMW, another young guy. This guy's paying significantly more. He's paying $1,000 more than that first guy. That's a studio apartment right there.
What do you drive and what is your monthly payment?
A Lamborghini Urus Performante, and my monthly payment is like $5,200 a month.
That is more than some people's mortgages per month on one vehicle. Of course, it's a Lamborghini. He's working at a car dealership. He has to let them know he's living. What do you need a $5,200 Lamborghini for working a regular desk job? He could be the owner of this dealership. Cool. $5,200 a month. And it's that flashy ass lime green pack it up color. So he wants people to see him driving it. He wants that notoriety on the road. He wants people to know he's living like that. For $5,200, you could keep the car. Keep the damn thing. I don't even want to look at it. Taking a look at the comments. $707 for a Hyundai. No car is worth $5,200 a month. $5,200 a month. He can't miss a day of work or get fired. If he falls behind on 2 car payments, that's almost $11,000. That thing is getting repossessed. $62,000 a year only in car payments for that Lamborghini. Some people don't even make $62,000 in 1 year, and he's spending that just on a Lamborghini. If you have to finance a Lambo, you can't afford a Lambo. Straight like that. At that point, like if you have to finance it, you just can't afford it. And that's okay. I can't afford one either.
I have a $1,200 car payment, and I would do it again and again and again and again. You're only on this planet once. While it's important you do smart things with your money, it's also important for you to enjoy yourself. You're paying a mortgage on your car. I don't care. I'm interested in cars, and I have a twin turbo V8. In my 20s. In life, you have to make calculated decisions. It's a give and take. It's a push and pull. So where I may overspend on my car, I underspend in other critical areas of my life. Like I barely buy myself new clothes, don't drink any alcohol, I definitely don't smoke any of that good stuff. So I may be $50,000 in debt, but it's my life.
This is a horrible take. You only live once, so why not be in debt to a financer for most of it? Especially for most of your 20s, which you'll never get back. That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. Copium, you say whatever you have to do to justify your decisions at the end of the day. He's a grown man. He made his own decisions. He has to deal with them. It's his life, like he said. That whole you only live once. Yeah, you do only live once. So why are you going to spend most of your life in debt to a company that doesn't care about you? Because you like the way a car looks. You like the way you look in a car when you're driving it. Why not invest that money early and then buy it in cash later and enjoy your life and the car? Why do you need it in your 20s? Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have a nice car in your 20s. Nobody needs a $1,200 car payment in their 20s. I don't care who you are. You do not need a $1,200 car payment in your 20s. You're selling your 20s. You literally have sold your 20s for a car. I mean, do you, but that's kind of nonsensical. Taking a look at the comments. Just a disappointed Dave Ramsey. Another person, I don't see what the issue is. If you can afford $1,200 comfortably, nothing wrong with that. People got to realize everybody not broke. That's the thing, is if you have to finance it, you can't afford it. Having to do a monthly payment on an asset means you cannot afford it in cash. So if you can't afford it in cash, you can't afford it. Why would you put yourself in that much debt? A mortgage is not $1,200 anymore. People need to realize the average car payment is $750, rent is $3K, mortgage is $4K. Nothing is cheap anymore. Agreed, but $1,200 is almost double what the regular car payment is. If this person is saying that $750 is the average car payment, $1,200 is almost double that. Is he getting double the car? Probably not. Especially in a cost of living crisis, especially with the way that things are looking right now, can be spent invested in his future. I'm a car guy too. I want a Ford Mustang GTD. I want a Porsche GT3 RS. I want a McLaren Senna. I'm not going out and putting myself in massive amounts of debts to afford that car in my 20s. Another person, I'm glad I'm not this dumb.
What is this car?
It's a 2017 Ford Mustang. It was a $25,000 car.
What's the minimum monthly payment, my dude?
$556.
What's the interest rate on this?
24.1%.
No.
Yes.
Dude, the interest rate is higher than your literal age. What's your insurance?
Car insurance payment is $770 a month.
Who sold this to you? I need to go beat the shit out of this person.
It was CarMax. I thought I could trust them.
I thought I can trust a corporation to have my best interests. When have you ever been able to trust any corporation ever? Trust them with what? Making sure you're financially sound after the sale? Are you joking? How naive are you?
Yeah, it was. Do you know how absolutely life-ruining that is to your finances?
I would be willing to sell my car for a more expensive, newer car.
What are you talking about?
So, other people that have had the same income and position at my age, they've been approved for $50,000, $60,000 cars. I like luxury, that a Lexus RCF. It's like a Japanese Mustang, is what they call it.
I have no words for this one. He's only interested in cars that are worth more than his Mustang is. So if it's not $770 per month, he doesn't want it. What a moron. Let's take a look at the comments. The dealership after he left with 24% interest. This person says, a champagne taste on a malt liquor budget. Another person, banks prey on people like this. They absolutely do. They're hoping that you have this mindset. They rub their hands when people that think like this walk into the dealership. They're like, yes, another one. Let's get it. Insurance higher than the payment. What the hell? It's because he's young and it's a Mustang. The Mustang is known as the crowd killer. So the insurance on those things are crazy. I need to control my debt. I'll sell my car and get a more expensive one instead. He's on financial audit, which means his finances are obviously screwed. Like, he's completely effed. He's talking about, the only way I'm giving up my car is I'm getting a more expensive one. That is not why you're here. You're here for the exact opposite reason. And they're not even willing to make that sacrifice. I mean...
So I just heard somebody say on Threads the number one wealth killer is card notes. And I said, I feel like for my generation, millennials specifically, it's student loans, 100% student loans. I know a good amount of people who graduated, I'm 36, 15, 16 years ago when we were 22 with $50,000 in student loan debt who owe $68,000 today. And they've been making payments the last 15 years on their loans.
That's diabolical. After paying for 15 years, they owe more money than what they borrowed. How do you even escape that? Genuinely, how do you get out of that? You don't. You made the decision when you were 18, 19 to go to school, and you're going to pay for it for the rest of your life. I guarantee you that.
And that's not as uncommon as you think. The problem with student loans is they are not bankruptable. And there's no like trading in your degree if you don't use it or you don't like it or like you just have to pay it. You know what I'm saying? But life hit and a lot of us just weren't educated on the process of how simple interest loans work and how when we signed up for these income-based repayment plans that they weren't even actually giving us a payment large enough to cover the interest. So our student loan payment should have been $550, but they gave us a payment of $200 based on our income. But the interest every month was $315 a month. So every month we're paying them $200, $225, and $100, $150 is getting added to our loan. Even though we've been making payments 10, 12, 15 years, we now owe 10 grand more, $15,000 more, and we weren't educated on that portion of it.
It's the same story that you hear with credit cards with the APR. A lot of people think that the minimum monthly payment is all that they really need to pay and they'll get that card paid off. The minimum monthly payment is just what the card company needs from you to report that you are paying on time. The minimum monthly payment will keep you in debt for much longer than paying it off in larger chunks. And that sounds exactly like what a lot of people that have student loans are going through. They see that minimum payment, but then the interest rate ends up being more than the minimum payment. So it's just piling on and it keeps piling on and you're just in more debt after years of paying it off. After paying it off, you're not paying it off.
A lot of us just thought like, oh, this is the payment. It's going towards something, but it wasn't. And the reason why I say cars isn't as bad as people think it is because even if you have negative equity, you can get out of a car. Say you have a car that you owe 30 grand on, but it's only worth 24,000. You have $6,000 in negative equity. You can sell that car and get a personal loan for $6,000 for the difference. Or you can have that car repossessed, go buy you a cash car, a little beater for $1,500 and make things shake in the meantime. You can't do that and then cut a deal with the collections agency on the back end. You can't do that with student loans. I've personally witnessed student loans stop people from buying homes, advancing in life, getting approved for apartments because it's destroying their credit. Like student loans, 100% number one wealth killer for millennials.
And there's nothing you could do about it. And I feel for those people that went to school, were promised a job, were promised that the degree that they earned would help them get a decent high-paying salary that they would be able to live and thrive off of. And that's just not the case in today's job market. We've seen that. Taking a look at the comments. When I graduated with $196,000, oh my gosh. They told me my first monthly payment was $2,200. I said, okay, and which job did you think I was going to be able to make that payment? I paid $175 and I went about my business. I'm currently $249,000, $250,000 in debt, and this is something I simply cannot worry about. I couldn't imagine being $250,000 in college debt. That's insanity. If it's ever paid off, you won't have anything but the degree that you've earned. This person, student loans, car notes, car insurance. That's the holy debt trinity right there. 100% student loans. I have $232,000 in student loans. Oh my gosh. Granted, I did a doctorate and haven't even made one payment yet. I'm 35. And people keep saying just pay them or you shouldn't have got them if you weren't going to pay them back. But we weren't educated about this. Plus tuition was high and we were promised careers that would match the degrees that we got. 100% student loan debt. It will always make your debt to income too high, which is what banks look for when they're offering loans on mortgages. So if your student loan debt to income ratio is too high, probably not going to get approved for that loan.
How did two 21-year-olds get into $1 million in debt? I'm Vivian and I'm going to USC Dental School. Tuition will cost $600K. Interest and living expenses is $300K, bringing the total to $900K.
And I'm Will and I'm going to UC Irvine, getting my master's in finance, and tuition will cost $50K. The total comes out to $1 million.
But don't worry.
It's time to work. I'm finishing up my last year at UC Irvine, double majoring in computer science and business.
And I'm finishing my last year at Cal State Long Beach, majoring in biomedical engineering. So how are we gonna make this money?
I'm a freelance software engineer making $2K a month.
And I'm a dental assistant making $17 an hour.
All right, so they seem enthusiastic about this, but this is insane. Between the two of them, they are $1 million in debt. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and it's just from schooling. We're gonna go straight to the comments on this one. This seems like only one person is in debt. Creator responds, "We're family." So how did one 21-year-old get into $1 million in debt, and how did the person choose a bad life partner this early? So she's obviously in a lot more debt than he is. She's about $900,000 in debt to one day hopefully be a dentist. Now, I personally know someone that's in dental school, and let me tell you right now, it is very expensive, and the schooling is extensive. And I know that dentists earn a lot of money, but let's be honest, who wants to pay $900,000 back? Like, that's just a ridiculous amount of money to be paying for schooling. And I don't care who you are, that's crippling debt. And that interest starts immediately once you graduate. There might be a little buffer period after you graduate, but then that interest kicks up, and interest on a $900,000 loan is gonna be crazy.
We filed bankruptcy 6 years ago and we're in debt again, and I want to go over what that debt is. The total amount of debt is $92,589.
She filed bankruptcy, and 6 years later, she's right back where she started at. She didn't learn shit from that first bankruptcy, let's be honest. Filing bankruptcy, she thought was an easy way out, and then she got herself right back in a hole. And I'm not gonna say that everybody that becomes bankrupt didn't learn their lesson. That's obviously not true, but she clearly didn't. Because she's right back at $96,000, almost $100,000 6 years later. Not even a decade later, she's down $100,000.
So we have two cars. One car is $19,812 and the other one is $21,404. And so that is a combined total of $41,216. Our credit cards between me and my husband are $32,715. And we have loans. I included like a firm, bread, which was our furniture. I included that in there. I even included our phones, you know, like when you go to Verizon and get like a phone and they put it into your monthly payment. I even included those. So all of that included is $18,618. We have multiple loans from Upstart and Upgrade. Oh, and Avant gave me a loan too. So yeah, $92,589.
This is all consumer debt. Everything she listed off was consumer debt. The car loans, the credit card debt, the firm, the phones. You're just acquiring all this stuff that you can't afford. You try to break it down into monthly payments, and now all these loans that you've taken out. And she says, oh, I was given a loan. No, you applied for a loan. They gave you the loan. She clearly didn't learn her lesson. She's right back where she started. Who knows what her debt was before, but being $96,000 in debt in 6 years on consumer debt clearly shows that you're financially irresponsible. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you're not this financially irresponsible, but you probably know someone that is, because it's a lot more common than we realize. Taking a look at the comments, you filed bankruptcy, then went and bought new cars, probably immediately after filing bankruptcy. That's what got you to bankruptcy in the first place. Why would you do that? Another person, so you're just financially irresponsible. Got it. If you've gained nearly $100K in debt in 6 years, you are financing lifestyle. You need to cut back everything. No streaming services, no DoorDash, no Uber Eats, no eating out, no brand name anything, because you can't afford it. Finance furniture after bankruptcy, you better get a blow up couch. What are you talking about? No one should be giving you loans. No one. If bankruptcy wasn't your wake up call, what's going to be the wake up call? You're back in debt. You're back in crazy amounts of debt. How are you going to get out of it this time? Probably bankruptcy again. So there's one more clip that I wanted to show you guys. If ever you see somebody flaunting a certain lifestyle or a new gadget or vacation, keep this video in mind. Whenever you see something like that and start to feel bad or feel like you need to spend in order to keep up.
Way more people are in credit card debt than you can even fathom. And I'm talking large amounts of debt. Next time you feel really bad about not being able to attend a festival or have some sort of experience or have a luxury item because you don't have the money, just remember that most of these people that you know are borrowing money to get it, okay? Once upon a time in college, I lived in this huge shared living situation, which was a total fucking nightmare, okay? There were like 1 million people in the house, and I'm not even exaggerating. And there was this one girl I lived with that would literally travel out of the country to go to concerts multiple times a month, and she would like always get barricade, and she always had these huge shopping hauls and generally like really expensive beauty products and clothes, and like it was actually insane. And I remember moving in and thinking like, how is she affording this shit? Like specifically all the international flights and concerts, and sometimes there wasn't even a concert. She would just be like, I'm gonna go to Europe for a few days. And I was like, okay. But then other people in the house informed me that like she was actually in $30,000 of credit card debt and she just didn't give a fuck. And one time I talked to her about it and she was like, my parents have declared bankruptcy 5 times. Like, money isn't real. I was like, okay, bro. I forgot to add that one time people from the local court, or one of the local courts, pulled up in the parking lot of our house and served her these papers because Discover, like the credit card company Discover, was going after her for all this money she owed that she hadn't paid back like months ago. And I remember talking to her about this money because she would bring it up frequently, like in the house when I was like cooking in the kitchen or whatever, being like, yeah, it was like $1,200 or it was $2,000. Like the number would vary. Like who fucking knows what the real number was? Like whatever she said, it was probably triple that. So like who really knows? But she's like, but they're a big company, like they'll just eat the cost. I'm like, no, they're gonna get you. And they did in fact get her, and they started like garnishing her wages and shit. Like it was actually crazy.
I know so many people that have used their credit cards, like debit cards. They just spend with no plan to pay it back because they use that excuse that money's not real. Money is real. Money exists. It's tangible. It is a real thing. And I guarantee you, you are going to be on the hook for that money. And maybe it's not messing with your financial situation right now, but somewhere down the road in the future, it will. And all of that bad spending is going to come back to bite you in the ass. Taking a look at the comments. My total debt is currently $260K. Hope you feel better reading this. Another over $250,000 person in debt. I paid off $17K credit card debt last year. Never again. Okay, but how do people even get these credit cards? I have good credit history and a good score and can't even get approval on a $1,500 credit card. You can't get approved for more than $1,500 because you don't have the finances to back more money. You don't want the opportunity to go that much in debt because you probably will. And they're banking on that. They want you to spend more than you can afford. Not even credit cards. Klarna is putting so many people in debt. Buy now, pay later is crazy. I mean, you've probably heard about how bad it is right now, but I don't even know who buy now, pay later even benefits because it's not Klarna. People aren't paying back their loans. And that's all I have for this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you like this kind of content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I do post new videos every week. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of debt you found yourself in the past and what you're doing to prevent that in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.